Although we've been having scattered showers across the island in recent days, a shower doth not a drought break. So please continue to practice your water conservation measures. For tips, visit the National Water Commission's website, nwcjamaica.com. Hello and welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Arroyo Eubanks. We have a lot lined up for you today, so please stay with us.
The National Water Commission (NWC) is now on a drive to rapidly fix leaks affecting the water distribution systems across the island. 2 leak hotlines have been established. Report leaks by calling 733-5655 and 733-5656. You may also send a text to 838-LEAK. That is 838-5325. Remember that a little effort will make a big difference. Be a leak detective. Conserve on water today.
Good day, I'm Carrie-Ann Smith, and this is your GIS News for Monday, August 11. A team from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, is expected in the island on Wednesday to conduct the 5th review of Jamaica's performance under the Extended Fund Facility. The IMF mission to Jamaica is scheduled to be in the island from August 13 to 22. During that time, they will determine if Jamaica met all quantitative targets and structural benchmarks under the program for the April to June quarter. Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips told Parliament last month that based on the government's assessment, all the criteria for the June quarter were met. After passing the 4th IMF test in June, Jamaica received $70.9 million, bringing total disbursements to $414.4 million. Acting Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Derek Kelly is asserting that stakeholders in the sector must practice climate-smart agriculture. Minister Kelly says the current drought reinforces the need for more efficient use of water through drip irrigation systems and the setting up of rainwater harvesting systems, as well as expansion of our food storage facilities.
In response to the immediate situation, we are implementing several short-term mitigating strategies, and we also continue to pursue our long-term strategic initiatives for climate change adaptations.
He says government is making sure that there is adequate food supply through local production and well-thought-out imports. Meanwhile, even with recent intermittent rainfall, Water Minister Robert Pickersgill is appealing to farmers to stop using the slash and burn technique to clear land.
Every drop of water counts, especially at this time, ladies and gentlemen. It makes no sense for us to be using our limited stores of water to fight fires. So again, I am appealing to everyone. Do not set fires to clear your land for planting.
The minister is also calling on Jamaicans to continue their water conservation measures, pointing out that the island will continue to receive below average rainfall going into October. He was speaking at a recent land titling ceremony in St. Mary, where 94 persons received land titles and 88 received certificates of allotment. Health Minister Dr. Fenton Ferguson says government continues to place priority on improving the treatment and prevention services available to cancer patients. Among the many initiatives being worked on is the procurement of 2 linear accelerator machines, which is at an advanced stage.
What that means for the most vulnerable, for the poorest, it will move them from a private sector cost of $1.8 million for a full course of radiation to 0.
In addition, the Health Ministry is seeking to adopt the acetic acid techniques for early detection of cervical cancer. Minister Ferguson says the government is also looking to sign 2 memoranda of understanding with Hospital for Sick Children or Sick Kids in Canada and with the Columbia University. These are to strengthen the delivery of health care to children and the country's pediatric oncology program. Minister Ferguson was speaking at the recent commissioning of a new mammography unit at the Jamaica Cancer Society. The South Trelawney Edu-Skill Center is to be expanded to include agriculture as part of its training curriculum. That's the commitment from Education Minister Reverend Ronald Thwaites. While addressing the center's recent graduation, he called on the Heart Trust NTA to provide the necessary certification and human resource to support this cause.
I would like to invite you to support the development of that agricultural campus that seems to be the next horizon for South Trelawney EduSkills.
Minister Thwaites also congratulated the 80 graduates on their achievements while encouraging them to further their studies. And finally, 25 special needs children recently graduated from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security's Early Stimulation Program and will now make the transition to primary school. The youngsters who live with various disabilities were hailed for their achievements at a valedictory service held at the Apostolic Church of Jamaica in Kingston. Portfolio Minister Derek Kelly congratulated the youngsters and pointed out that they would have greater opportunities for advancement due to the recent passage of the Disabilities Act in Parliament.
I see very exciting times ahead for these children. What this means, ladies and gentlemen, is that going forward, these children from ASP can expect to see a huge difference in their lives. For the Act unequivocally prohibits any form of discrimination against a person with a disability.
And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Carrie Ann Smith. Thanks for watching.
It keeps our bodies working, our food nutritious, our living and working spaces clean, and our lives comfortable. Water, the most precious resource necessary for the sustenance of life on our planet. Don't waste it. Let's conserve on this critical commodity. In the house, invest in storage containers and buckets. Take quick showers instead of long baths, and invest in water-efficient shower heads, toilets, and faucets. You may also want to consider one-pot meals and cooking methods that don't require much water. You could also wash fruits and vegetables in a bowl and reuse the water on your plants or grass. When cleaning dishes, fill both sinks and use one for washing and the other for rinsing. The leftover water can be used to wash off the concrete or asphalt in your yard. If you must wash your car at home, aim for once a fortnight and use a bucket to do the washing instead of running the hose. Don't delay. Start your water conservation practices today.
What good, Sir Howard? Mount Rossa bypass opens on the cusp of independence and a call for Jamaicans to take personal responsibility for their communities as Jamaica turns 52. Those and other stories coming out of Jamaica House this past week. Next.
The nation bids farewell to Sir Howard. Prime Minister says, let's take responsibility for Jamaica, and independence gift unveiled. With Jamaica House Weekly, I'm Simone Wolfe. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller joined hundreds of mourners who converged on the Holy Trinity Cathedral in Kingston Friday to pay last respects to the late former Governor-General Sir Howard Cook.
Among the most enduring life lessons taught to us by Teacher Cook himself is that there are no heights of achievement to which the poorest and the most humble Jamaican cannot rise if we work hard and live a life of utmost integrity.
Sir Howard was laid to rest in the National Heroes Park. The island also observed 2 days of state mourning for the former head of state on Thursday and Friday. Minister of Water, Land, Environment and Climate Change, Robert Pickersgill, represented Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller at the Michael University College where Sir Howard's body was lying in state on Thursday.
He's such a people person and had this quality of looking after the dispossessed and the vulnerable. And of course, that is what would have caused him to have done so well in representational politics. We shall miss him. But in missing him, we know that his memory will live on for a variety of reasons.
On Wednesday, the Prime Minister attended an Independence Day parade at King's House, where she called on Jamaicans to take responsibility and be accountable for their actions. Using this year's independence theme, This is Jamaica, My Jamaica, the Prime Minister encouraged citizens to unite towards the common purpose of building the Jamaica they desired.
This is Jamaica. My Jamaica means
that in the face of our most severe drought in recent memory, we must take personal responsibility for conserving water. We must make the necessary sacrifices. The issues we face are national and broad-based because this is our Jamaica. Each Jamaican must own and contribute to mitigating them. Personal responsibility means that we look out for our neighbor and our neighbor's children, that we protect the weak and vulnerable in our communities, and take care of the elderly, the disabled, the sick, and the lonely.
Later in the evening, Mrs. Simpson Miller participated in the Independence Grand Gala celebrations held at the National Stadium.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted today to declare Section 2 of the North-South Highway open as an Emancipendence 2014 gift to the people of Jamaica.
Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller opened the Mount Rossa bypass last Tuesday. With the opening, motorists can expect a 40% reduction in travel time between Kingston and St. Anne. The roadway will not attract a toll fee for a month until September 5. Jamaica received another gift Thursday with the opening of the repaved Leela Robinson Netball Court at Independence Parks Limited in Kingston.
I am appealing to members of the community and users of the various sporting facilities. Protect these spaces. Be vigilant and manage them in a way that they will be able to be available for those to come generations later. I also want to encourage all Jamaicans to fully utilize these facilities so that we can be a fitter, healthier, and more active population.
The renovation was done at a cost of $23 million. And on Thursday, Prime Minister Simpson Miller welcomed Canadian Senator Don Meredith to Jamaica House. Jamaican-born Meredith was on the island for the Independence Day parade at King's House. The two spoke of strengthening cooperation between Jamaica and Canada. And that's it for this week's edition of Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next time for the latest stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Welcome to the FSC Minute. I am Nadine Newsom. Today we discuss the importance of retirement planning, and joining me is Nicolette Hennes, Senior Director of Pensions with the FSC. Welcome to the FSC Minute, Mrs. Hennes.
Thanks, Nadine.
Mrs. Hennes, why is the FSC concerned about the low pension coverage in Jamaica?
Well, Nadine, as at March 31st, 2014, 8.9% of the employed labor force contributed to a private pension fund. Another 5 to 6% receive a pension from the government. These statistics imply that as many as 85% of the labor force have not made formal arrangements for retirement. Reliance, therefore, has to be placed on intermittent sources of revenue, such as remittances from abroad or savings that have accumulated over that person's lifetime. This makes the senior years extremely challenging and a time for marginal existence for many people.
And what can happen to persons who have not adequately prepared for retirement?
Well, due to the improvement in environmental hygiene, sanitation, and medical technology, persons are living significantly longer. Treatments now exist that can reduce the impact of major illnesses that 30 years ago would have meant a sure death sentence. Jamaicans have access to prescription drugs through National Health Fund and Jamaica Drug for the Elderly programs. Therefore, their lives are being prolonged, and a person could retire at 60 years and live until 90 years old. During that 30-year period, however, with increased costs and inflation, that pensioner can be seriously impoverished. Longevity, in the absence of consistent and formal savings, can see Jamaicans outliving their savings.
And what can persons do to plan for their retirement?
Well, I would advise that everybody should start saving for our retirement from the moment that they start working. Many employers have in place a facility or a pension arrangement for their employees so that persons can save for retirement. For those persons who do not have such an arrangement in place, the FSC strongly suggests that they save for retirement through an approved retirement scheme. In an approved retirement scheme, a person can set aside money consistently for retirement, and the law requires that that must be done at least once a year. Those savings are accumulated over time, and when the person gets to 65, a pension will be paid. For the list of approved retirement schemes, please check the FSC website.
Thank you, Mrs. Hennes. My guest today was Nicolette Hennes, Senior Director of Pensions with the FSC. For the FSC Minute, I am Nadine Newsom.
It's important to store water during periods of drought. It's even more important to ensure that the water is safe. Boiling and treating your water with bleach are two of the best ways to purify water. If you choose the boiling method, allow the water to boil for 5 minutes, cover and let it cool. Store boiled water in a clean, airtight container and use something with a handle to take out the water when needed. If you use bleach to make your water safe for drinking, use 2 drops of bleach to a liter of water, 8 drops for a gallon, and ½ teaspoon of bleach for 5 gallons of water. Shake well and leave for half an hour before use. Water is essential to a healthy life, so ensure yours is clean and safe for consumption.
How spectacular was this year's Grand Gala? If you're still basking in cultural euphoria, this next feature will surely keep you in that patriotic state of mind.
Oh boy. Yes, this one. Oh, hi there. Hi. Trust me, I'm sorry. I was just caught up in this infectious page turner. Welcome to another edition of the Arts Page. Today we showcase 2 of the JIS's contribution to the literary arts scene. I'm gonna go and read here. So cool.
Let's look at the first book. The second edition of Jamaican Folk Customs and Beliefs is packed with all the old wives' tales, superstitions, and the general thoughts Jamaicans hold to be true. We have a rich cultural history, and the book speaks to the root of what we as a people believe, passed down from generation to generation.
You remember what your granny used to say? Picnic. No, open the umbrella in the house. You don't want to get married. Well, all that in the book too.
How about if your right hand scratches, you'll receive money? Or if your right ear rings, you'll hear good news? What about your right elbow and receiving a handshake? Well, those are just some of the many different ideas the book deals with. From love and courtship to pregnancy and the days of the week, this book has all you'll need to know about the ideas we still hold dear.
And since we're on the topic of books, here's another one that is sure to elicit fond memories and national pride.
This book that I have in my hand is very relevant to the history of Jamaica and to show us where we have come today as a nation. because nothing tells the story better than photographs. Nothing at all.
That's so true. Chronicling 50 years of nationhood or Golden Jubilee snapshots of post-independent Jamaica 1962 to 2012 offers up crisp photographs of Jamaica's beauty, from its people to the mountains and the valleys. But most of all, it also brings to the fore the development and progress that has been made since 1962. Scenes from the book are laid out in beautiful black and white and colored photography, recording and recreating some moments of the nation's past.
I would tell people to give this book as a gift to children, that they might not find the value of it now, but later they can. It also would make an interesting independence gift to older people whose memories are now fading but can look at this immediately. The return of the body of Garvey is a seminal moment in Jamaican history, and it's captured there. If you look at the picture of the coffin, it's far more ornate and covered with things than now. Martin Luther King's visit, Bustamante leading people down Duke Street. All of that, Michael Manley at his father's grave, and that the mantle was handed from father to son later. It's small but important.
And not only that,
this collector's item will go down as one of the best pieces of collection in a book that we can ever get.
So, if you're interested in copying these collector's items, be sure to contact the JIS's Research and Publications Department at 926-359024 or email them at research@jis.gov.jm.
Householders, business people, school administrators, protect yourself and your children from the Chikungunya virus. Be on the alert. Help control the mosquito population. Chikungunya is a virus transmitted by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which breeds in and around your home, workplace, and school. Destroy breeding sites. Empty old tires and all other containers where water can settle. Bore holes in old cans. Cover water drums and garbage cans. Wash flower pots and vases and clean pet dishes regularly. Protect yourself from mosquito bites. Cover your body as much as possible and use mosquito repellent containing DEET. And if you're experiencing symptoms of chikungunya, a sudden high fever, headache, rash, nausea, pain, stiffness, or severe joint pains, see your doctor or go to the nearest health center.
The start of the new school year is just a few weeks away, and I'm sure parents are busy buying items for their children to go back to school. But in all the rush, what are you doing with those receipts?
Serve. Be a pound of flour and a tin of mackerel there. How much that? 120. 120. Respect.
Yeah, my general, see you left for receipt.
John knows them thing there?
Yeah, man.
So, for this. Respect.
The law is clear. Without a receipt, there is no proof of purchase. It doesn't matter the situation or the type of item purchased. A receipt guarantees compensation in the event something goes wrong with your purchase. The Consumer Protection Act, the CPA, speaks specifically to this, the use of receipts during transactions being a duty of the vendor and the consumer. Section 20 of the Act stipulates that the receipt is your legal proof of purchase to be used in arranging a refund where needed.
Shop around, check the products thoroughly before you pay over. Ensure after you've paid that you receive a receipt.
Yes, comparative shopping cannot be overemphasized, especially in tight economic times. Customers have to ensure the quality of the product before hard-earned money is handed over. Otherwise, in some cases, you might as well be flushing those dollars down the drain. And if there is a defect, the justice system or the Consumer Affairs Commission may not be able to help you get assistance of any sort if you do not have a receipt.
We admonish consumers to ensure at all times that you have a footing to stand on if something goes wrong. And that is why we encourage you to get a receipt once you have done any business.
But within the Jamaican shopping context, with street-side deals, corner shops, and other instances of informal selling, the use of a receipt is often abandoned. In those cases, the CAC warns the consumer is pretty much not covered, legally speaking, that is. But there are ways to resolve this.
In cases where a receipt is not available, take your receipt book with you and have the vendor sign the receipt book as a way to protect yourself.
Would you like a receipt?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Wrong move, says the authorities. According to CAC surveys, motorists often opt not to accept or request a receipt because the process is time-consuming. But motorists are implored to request receipts for petrol purchases to facilitate easy resolution if a discrepancy occurs, such as being overcharged.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Total.
Good afternoon. May I get 2090? And may I have a receipt, please?
2019 and a receipt? Sure, no problem.
Here are the legal guidelines that constitute a valid receipt.
And that receipt should bear the name of the provider, the date on which the transaction took place, what was purchased or what service was used, the cost, and the cost attached.
The receipt could also show the vendor's contact information and description of the product, that is, the goods or services being sold. The price can either be written out or printed in numerals. Both are sometimes used in order to avoid ambiguity. And vendors, to protect your business in the event a dispute arises, keep a copy of all receipts and sign receipts if they do not bear the logo of your organization. The receipt can be valid for up to 6 years. So, to get justice in the event of a transaction gone wrong, the next time you pay for goods or services, collect your receipt.
Make the new school year stress-free and smooth for both you and your child. Do an inventory of what you have and make sure you buy only what you need. If you haven't already, start your back-to-school shopping now. This will give you time to shop around and compare prices on all those school supplies. Visit the school with your child so he or she can get familiar with the surroundings and possibly meet classmates before school starts. Make test trips to the school to get an idea of the length of time it will take to drop off and pick up your child each day. Be penny-wise, budget, and get creative so that both you and your child are ready for the upcoming school year. And that's our show. Have comments or queries? Email us jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm or join us on Facebook, facebook.com/Jamaica Information Service. For this and other programs in full, click onto our website, jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Arroyo Eubanks. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.